close project or phase. The close project or phase process is the formal completion of the project, or in multi-phase projects the closure of a phase. It includes making sure the project is finalized across all processes, and performing administrative closure procedures and contract closure procedures. This includes archiving project information and artifacts, documenting lessons learned, and providing final reports on project performance, including schedule, budget, and risks. Some activities may begin in this process even before the project as a whole is ready to enter the closing steps. Processes here are performed by the project manager, project management team, vendors, and the performing organization's management, as applicable. The close project procedure is also where the formal acceptance and handover of the final product, service, or result to the customer will take place. The close project process occurs even if the project is cancelled or otherwise terminated before fulfilling all its requirements. When a project is terminated, the project performance and deliverables are evaluated up to that point in time. The deliverables as they stand at termination are compared against where they were expected to be. It's also important to document the reasons the project was terminated, as these contribute to the knowledge base for future projects. There are two main components to the close project process: an administrative closure procedure and the contract closure procedure. The administrative closure procedure details all the requirements of the performing organization and responsibilities for project closure. This includes making sure that all requirements have been met, including those of stakeholders, the sponsor, organization, and customer. The contract closure procedure focuses on the requirements and responsibilities to make sure all contracts are properly closed. It'll contain all activities and responsibilities to make sure all elements of the contract and exit criteria have been met. The close procurements process will also establish contract-specific processes necessary. Contract documentation is also archived as part of the administrative closure procedure. Part of the closure process involves making the knowledge, experience, and information about our project available to future projects by updating organizational process assets. We all want to move into the next project as quickly as possible, but it's important to take the time during the closure process to document lessons learned and archive the project files. Updates to the organizational process assets will include the documentation of the formal acceptance and turnover to the customer, project files, project closure documents, and historical information. Close project or phase. Inputs. Project Management Plan. The project management plan details how the project will be executed, managed, and controlled, including many subsidiary plans as to how changes to major project components, such as scope, budget and schedule, will be handled, and how important factors such as communication, risk, and quality will be managed. The project management plan is the key source of information relating to project management for the project. Accepted deliverables. These are the deliverables that have passed scope verification. Organizational process assets. The organization may have standardized project or phase closure policies, templates, or guidelines. Close project or phase. Tools and techniques. Expert judgment. Expert judgment is based upon the experience and knowledge of subject matter experts. It's used to assess and evaluate the inputs and the information they contain. Close project or phase. Outputs. Final product, service, or result transition. When the project is closed, the objective the project was undertaken can truly be considered in final form. In the case of phases, This refers to the intermediate result produced by the phase. Organizational process assets update. The organizational process assets that are updated as a result of the close project or phase process include, but are not limited to: project files, documentation resulting from the project activities, for example, project management plan, scope, cost, schedule and project calendars, risk registers, change management documentation, planned risk response actions, and risk impact. Project or phase closure documents. Project or phase closure documents, consisting of formal documentation that indicates completion of the project or phase and the transfer of the completed project or phase deliverables to others, such as an operations group or to the next phase. During project closure, the project manager reviews prior phase documentation, customer acceptance documentation from the verify scope process and the contract if applicable, to ensure that all project requirements are complete prior to finalizing the closure of the project. If the project was terminated prior to completion, the formal documentation indicates why the project was terminated and formalizes the procedures for the transfer of the finished and unfinished deliverables of the cancelled project to others. Historical information. Historical information and lessons learned information are transferred to the lessons learned knowledge base for use by future projects or phases. This can include information on issues and risks as well as techniques that worked well that can be applied to future projects.